welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Saskia and I am a second year psychology student at the University of Southampton. Haven't filmed a video in a very long time because I haven't wanted to. I also had my birthday, so I'm now 20, and I got this little boy. Haven't come up with a name for him yet. I think I could say Trevor or Malcolm, but I don't know, he's very cute. I do love him. But yeah, you can probably tell by the title, I'm going to tier rank my first year modules. I think I saw this video by Claire Isabel, but it was ranking all of her degree modules for how useful they were in the real world. I'm not in the real world, I'm still doing my degree, but I thought I would rank them anyway and basically just like talking about them because I hated them so much. So I did do a video on talking you through all of the year one modules, which I'll link in the card, but I basically just talked through what you learn, what the assessment methods are, and did I mention my opinions of them? I don't know, but I'm basically just going to talk about my opinions on these modules. But yeah, so I'll just get started. I've split them into the semesters, so I've got semester 1 and semester 2, and I can't actually really see my screen very well. So first one I'm going to do is, I've got semester 1, I have thinking psychologically, not even a module. So thinking psychologically was, I didn't hate it because I got a good grade in it, but there was no point to it. It was not a module. It was essentially like a tutor-led module, which was just you meet with your tutor every week and they teach you how to uni, but you don't get taught how to uni. So you got assessed on a group presentation. You know how I feel about group work. Especially that one was very traumatic for me. And then an individual essay. My individual essay was fine, I got 78 in that, thanks for that. But the group work was not great because I didn't like my group, I had a lot of issues with them. I kind of reported that to my tutor and he basically just didn't care. So I have moved to tutor group since then because I wasn't going to do that again, I wasn't here for that at all. And it was just not a module. They taught you how to APA reference, but they also didn't. They just have a lot of issues with this module. So we got taught how to APA reference, but they essentially just gave us a list of websites and right, reference this. How is that teaching me how to APA reference? We also had to write our first ever university essay, but we weren't taught how to write a university essay. We were shown 2 examples, or 3 examples, a 62, a 65 and a 68. I thought they would look rubbish. And we then were not taught how to write an essay ourselves. We then had to make a presentation, but we were again not really taught how to make a presentation. And it was just a shambles. It was not a module, right? There was no revision, there was no lectures. It was a waste of time, but it was really easy and a really easy grade to get. I think I ended up with a 73 in that module, which is quite friendly for doing absolutely no revision for it and also hating every second of it. Yeah, I really didn't enjoy that one. Intro to Psych. That is going in absolute shit show. The module, right, it could have been helpful. If you've never done psychology before, Intro to Psych was an intro to psych. It was, this is psychology, this is behaviourism, social psychology, these are the different approaches, these are different things. But it was awful. The assessment was entirely group work. I'm sorry, but who in their right mind thinks that group work is a good way to assess anyone? Yeah, sure, do one group work project, fine. Well, not fine, I still hate every minute of it. But 100% group work, or 97.5% because we got 2.5% research credits. I got below a 60 in that module. That's genuinely embarrassing for me because my group were not very good. First of all, 5 people didn't turn up. We had a group of 10 and 4 people had dropped from the university but no one told us. And then also in our second poster we were explicitly told don't use Simply Psychology. What did the people in my poster group do? They used Simply Psychology. Funnily enough, that's actually not an academic source. Don't use Simply Psychology in uni work. It's an A-level website. You're now in uni. Something's not quite adding up here. Yeah, don't use Simply Psychology. Use it, but don't reference it. Just pretend you got your information from somewhere else. Just lie. What are they going to do? Check? No. but the teaching was not great. The slides were nice. Like, I'll give him that. The slides were legible. The explanation wasn't great. We then did every lecture with just a VVox quiz. It was like Monday 2 till 4 p.m. Sit there. What is a Gestalt principle? A. So everyone got that one wrong. This is what a Gestalt principle is. Next module. I'm sorry, but did I learn anything from that? No. What was the point of that module? Nothing. If you haven't done psychology before, it could have been useful. But also, you get taught everything from the beginning anyway. Like, even our modules in semester 2, you don't have to have done any psychology to understand them. Like, no. So we then have the module that I think everyone would whore themselves out for. Psychology of attractiveness. It could go in best of a bad bunch, but it could also go in this was tolerable. I feel like it's in the middle of them. I think I'll have to put it in best of a bad bunch because if not, nothing's going to go in there. But I didn't actually like it that much. Controversial. Everyone loved that module. I liked it at the time, right? The videos were good. The lecture slides were a bit iffy, but the videos were good. She explained everything. It was nice. It was, I think it was like Friday on the afternoon, or I don't know, but it was a good. The live lectures were great. I liked the lecturer. The assessment was just a bit weird. It was like 98% on one thing, which first of all, terrifying when you're in first year and you've not really been told how to do anything. And then we didn't get any feedback on it. Like, you could have arranged a meeting for feedback, but like, if they already chose to give you a grade, a 68, a 65, a 75, surely they have to have justified why they gave you that grade, and it wouldn't be that hard for them to just send you that piece of paper that says shit referencing but good essay. You know? Because I thought I did quite well in that, but like, we just didn't really get told anything about it. The content was all stuff I'd done in the IB, so it wasn't a difficult module. Yeah, I would agree it's best of a bad bunch, but I didn't really enjoy it. It's not, I haven't really enjoyed my degree at all. Yeah, don't do psychology. I mean, what? I'd never promote not doing a degree in psychology. And then we have the final one of semester 1, research methods 1. I feel like it just goes in air. I feel like it can't quite go into this was tolerable because it was in fact not. The first part was basically just learning what are research methods, as in, well, actually no, it was split weird. We had like part 1, part 2, part 3 or something. Part 1 was like probability, mean, mode, median, range. That was all fine, that was taught quite well. Second part was then like what is an experiment, which yes is useful, but did I learn anything new? No. The slides for the second part were horrendous. The videos, horrendous. The lectures, horrendous. Nothing was good about that part. And arguably that's quite important to know what an experiment is. And about like variables, covariables, bar graphs. I didn't learn anything from that. And then again, the live lectures for that part were like a VVox quiz where he was like, so everyone got this wrong. Next point. He didn't, like, it wasn't explained why we were wrong. And it was basically just, the lecturer didn't like us. He didn't like that we were not PhD students. He was like, I can't believe you don't know what an experiment is. You know why we don't know? Because he didn't teach us. Like, people would ask questions and he would genuinely seem annoyed that people have asked questions. Yeah. And then the next part was run by Sylvia. I love Sylvia, she still teaches us now. And she taught us stats. Incredible. Phenomenal. I don't like stats, the content sucks. But it all kind of made sense. And then she would do like office hours. Literally only 5 of us turned up to her office hours. But it was still great. It was pretty much like one-on-one going through stats to help you. The lectures were all good because she would actually listen to your questions and visually explain it all. And I don't think I would have understood stats if the other lecturer was teaching it. Research methods sucks as a topic, but it could have been worse. It was kind of tolerable. The in-person lectures were useless. We just went through SPSS, but like, useless. But I actually didn't hate that. But it stays on air because of the other part being so beyond bad. So then we have semester 2. I think I preferred semester 2 to semester 1. because I hated the modules less. In semester 1, I only liked attractiveness. All of the others I just hated because I didn't like the stats content. It's not fun. It wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to do this. I was like, yeah, it makes sense, but I'm not enjoying it. Semester 2, I think I did better overall in grading because we didn't have that stupid entire group work module. And it just, there were parts of each bit that were more tolerable. It wasn't like, oh, the whole module was beautiful, but there was elements that were tolerable. Research methods and empirical studies are best of a bad bunch, but number one, as in the best module we've ever done. Not even the content, I don't care. Like, useful, actually, probably the most useful module we've done, apart from research methods 1, because you do need all the stats, but like, useful in terms of we got taught how the hell you write a psychology paper, how you write an abstract, how you write up results, all of that kind of thing. We had to write a research proposal, we had to design an experiment. I quite like the assessment methods. I did okay in the module, not great, I didn't get rounded up to a first. I think I got like 69.4% or something, so I didn't quite get 70, which was broke my little heart because I did so well in the first bit. I did 78 in the first assessment and then a 65 in the second one because all my stats was wrong. Don't know why, but it was all completely wrong. But the lecturers for this module, I loved them. Genuinely miss them. Genuinely went to every single lecture that they did. All the other things, I didn't turn up to every single lecture because they were useless. This one, the lectures were helpful. We did a few things like a few stats things, like we ran through like an ANOVA or like a few things, but it wasn't difficult to understand, and if it was, they would actually help you. They would actually run through it with you, not treat you like an idiot, and they reply to your messages as well. That's another thing. I would message them on Teams and be like, I don't understand what's happening, and they would reply. Some other lecturers messaged them, didn't reply for like a week, or just flat out ignored me. Yeah, that was really fun. But Research Method 2 was actually good, as in the best module we did all of year 1, which is weird because research methods, but it wasn't really research methods. It was research methods and empirical studies, but it was empirical studies. There was no research methods in it. There was no data analysis really. It was empirical studies of how to write a journal, not a journal, what kind of a journal, like a paper essentially. We've then got psychology of mental health. I think this was tolerable. Not enjoyable, but okay. Like, the content was basic. It was psychopathology and abnormal psych from the IB. It wasn't anything particularly new. I think there's a few new bits on like schizophrenia because we didn't do schizophrenia, but not really anything exciting. It's kind of what everyone thinks psychology is, but then you go to do it and you're like, actually I don't like it. You know, wasn't the most thrilling, but the slides were really good. She laid out the slides beautifully. When she would evaluate a model, it was like tick point, bad point, bad point, or like a nice little graph, a table. I did love that. The lectures were useless, as in the live lectures we just went through like a Padlet. We were like, has anyone got any questions? No, great. Like, you didn't have to go to them. You didn't have to go to any of the live lectures in year 1 to understand it, but yeah, assessment though, no. The first assessment was awful. Worst assessment, not worst assessment ever, but very close. We had to write a 500-word explanation of like someone had written in and we were being like an agony aunt, and it was like, oh, I think I've got depression, and we had to be like, oh, you do or you don't, but with psychology, but also in plain English. But also you got told off if you were too plain English or not plain English enough. And it was just dumb. It was a stupid assessment method. I hated it. I'm so glad it didn't count for anything, as in like in my actual degree, because I wasn't happy with my grade for that. That wasn't what I wanted. And we then had, the second assessment was an essay, and I did so good in that essay. I got 78, and I don't even think we got feedback on it. I don't think, we didn't get any feedback on it, but like, to be honest, I didn't care because I did well. I only want feedback if I did bad. Like, if I did well, I'm like, well, I probably did well in every part. Like, would they have given me a 78 if I messed up the references? No, it would have been lower. We just basically have 3 essay questions. You pick an essay. I think it was 1,500 words, or 1,200. I really liked it. I found it really enjoyable and really easy to do. So like, the module itself was a bit basic. Assessment, first one was awful, second one was okay. Just tolerable, I think. Individual differences, absolute shit show. That might be the worst module we've ever done. The content, rubbish. Individual differences is just personality and intelligence, but by personality and intelligence, it's personality, brackets, maybe some intelligence if we want to, but not really. The content, awful, not interesting, not engaging. The slides, awful, not interesting, not engaging. The lectures, awful, not interesting, not engaging. The live lectures, I got ignored several times. I asked a question because I think I asked a question on like the assessment. I was like, what is going on? I got ignored. I had to resend my question 4 times and they just didn't really answer it. That was awful. We also, oh my god, the assessment methods. Let's talk about the MCQs first. We had to make multiple choice questions. We've never been taught how to do this, ever. We just had to make multiple choice questions, like 1 per week of content, and then we had to pick 5 that we wanted to be worth 75% of that grade, and then the rest of them were all equally graded to make up the other 25%, or something stupid. How am I supposed to know what a good multiple choice question is if we were never really given examples and the criteria was wishy-washy? The criteria wasn't like, this is a good one, this is a bad one. It was like, your question needs to be clear. Well, it looks clear to me, but is it clear to you? I think I got 72 in that, so like, yeah, that's fine, but I stressed unnecessarily about it, and it was a stupid thing. Have I gained any skills from that? No. Have I gained any skills from uni? No. Second assessment method, then our essay. We were like 10 weeks into the content, right? Or 5 weeks into the content. Intelligence was the last part. Intelligence was like week 12 and 13. We'd not covered intelligence yet. We got set an essay where you could choose between doing personality or intelligence. You've not been taught intelligence, so don't let us answer an essay on intelligence and then also kind of get mad at us when we do that. We basically had to pick to what extent is it nature or nurture or something. I did intelligence because I did intelligence in the IB and I didn't understand what he was on about in personality because it was all just rubbish to me. So I wrote an essay on on intelligence being nature or nurture, and it just didn't make any sense. We had to reference, this is annoying, we had to only reference the textbook. We were told we were only allowed to reference the textbook or the lecture slides, but we couldn't reference the textbook as in like, cite it as the author. No, we had to reference it, we had to cite it TB_3 for chapter 3 _134 for the page. And he was like, oh, it's just to save you words. No, that was stupid. Or we had to reference his slides. And then, when it came to a week before the essay was due, so we'd all bloody written it, he went into the exam, into the live lecture, and he was like, yeah, no, you need to be referencing the original paper. You need to go into the textbook and find the original paper from that. Bestie, you never said that. I'd already submitted my essay at this point, because I'd finished it. And he was like, no, you don't want to be referencing just the textbook or just the lecture slides. I think I had 3 references because he told us you could only reference 3 things. And then he was like, no, you need to be using original studies, the original paper. I was like, are you fucking joking? And then we got marked on corrections. So we wrote the essay, I think I got 68 or 72 or something like that. And then we got a corrections sheet. So my essay, I just got emailed back by a PhD student or a postgrad student or something. And first of all, it was weird. You got A, B, C, D, E. What does that mean? And it was clarity A, punctuation B. I was like, just give me a number. That doesn't make sense. You can't go from giving me 71s and 60s to being like, that's now an A. What is an A? And we then had to give corrections. So we had to basically correct anything that we were told was wrong in our essay. I wasn't told pretty much anything was wrong in my essay, so what the hell am I going to correct? I was told 3 punctuation bits and that my conclusion was too broad. So I rewrote my conclusion, I did that, and then we got given general feedback. None of the general feedback applied to my essay, so how am I meant to correct general feedback on an essay that the feedback doesn't make sense on? And then we just had to submit a page of corrections. And then we just got graded on what that would have taken our essay up to. So I think I got 68 in the essay and it took me up to a 72 or something stupid, but what the hell? I hated that module. That is the worst module I've ever done. I think I stopped doing it. I think I just gave up because I was like, I know that the only content I needed to know was intelligence. I also just skipped intelligence and just used what I learned from the IB because I was like, I hate it. Or I used the textbook. The textbook is the only thing that gave me any understanding. final module, behavioural neuroscience. I think just air. I think it just, no one else liked it because it was science. Well, it was like biology. I love biology. I did biology at A-level, I tutor biology, I love biology. And the first like 7 weeks were all kind of understandable. I only did the first 7 weeks, I didn't bother with the last 3, I couldn't be bothered. But we basically just got taught about like synaptic transmission, genetics, like all of the basics in biology. And I obviously quite liked that because it all made sense. And then we got taught a few other random bits about like sleep. And then the last 3 weeks were like about 3 disorders. Were they? Like anxiety, Alzheimer's, something else? Depression? I don't know, I didn't pay attention because I didn't like the last lecturer. And we got assessed in short answer questions, which I actually quite like as an assessment form. I think they're quite good in that you have to actually know everything. But I do prefer an essay because it's more representative of uni and real life. But I didn't do that great in them. Like, I used all of the lecture information that he'd given us and I still only got 65, but I was then normally distributed up to a 72 because everyone else had done worse. But it still didn't make any sense, because we were given like a guide of 200 words. I went way over, and I still didn't have enough content even though I'd mentioned everything he told us. So you just couldn't do well in those. And then we wrote an essay, and that was bad. I got 62, or 65? It was like anxiety and fear conditioning. I didn't come to the last weeks of lectures. I didn't know what anxiety had to do with fear conditioning. I then like read some papers on it, and it just didn't really make sense. But I also think my essay kind of made sense, but clearly not. I don't think we really got any feedback on it either. I think we just got a grade, which, again, useless. If I do well, give me a grade and then move on. If I do not the best, if I don't get a 78, essentially give me feedback. Because you have to have thought of feedback to give me a grade. Like, to justify giving me a 65, you have to have said, well, it wasn't, the references weren't good enough for a 68, or the intro was bad, or the citations were wrong. Like, there has to have been a reason. So it just doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I think that is all of them right. I just have a lot of issues with my first year. I hated it. Yeah, I think that kind of cuts it. Like, if you look at the graph, like the table, it is kind of a 50-50 split, but like, also most things are in the bottom half, and then like the second level was literally this was tolerable. Not even this was good. And like best of a bad bunch. I didn't enjoy them. I'm also not enjoying any of my modules in this semester. It doesn't get any better. Yeah, I don't really like my degree. Just uni things. Uni kind of sucks. Psychology degrees are kind of boring. And year 1 is really bad. Yeah. That's all I've got to say. I just wanted to slate my modules for a bit, and now they've been slated and I'm quite content to move on with my life.